The jump scare precon has finally been released, and it is, well, helmed by the mystery unraveler herself, Zimone. And yeah, this deck is quite a mystery, so let's just jump straight on in. So let's start things off with Zimone, the mystery unraveler. 2 green and a blue for a legendary creature human wizard. They are 3/3. And they have the following text. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, manifest dread if this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn. Otherwise, you may turn a permanent you control face up. So, to manifest dread, we're going to look at the top 2 cards of our library. We'll put one face down off the battlefield as a 2/2 creature and the other one into our graveyard. It's a bit like Manifest and Surveil 2 combined. The 2/2 creature that is now on the battlefield can be turned face up for its mana value, but it has to be a creature. However, with Zimone's ability, we can get around that. Looking at this deck, it wants to pull in kind of like 2 directions. This manifesting face down synergies, as well as landfall to trigger said ability. So we need to break this deck down and see where we want to go with it. There is also a few cards in here that care about +1/+1 counters. So that could be a 3rd direction. The Lieutenant Commander I think is quite interesting in this deck, but that is a completely different build. So yeah, we need to break this deck down and see where we want to take it and see what we want to do to try and streamline it a little bit more, let's say. So yeah, let's do that now. We have 32 creatures, 4 artifacts, 8 enchantments, 38 lands, 17 spells. There is also a sideboard of 10 cards, but you can ignore the sideboard. That is for the arch enemy minigame, let's say. Zimone's ability is a landfall ability. Now, to get the maximum value out of her ability, we need to make sure we're playing 2 lands per turn. First land will obviously manifest the dread. The second land will then be able to flip that permanent face up. Obviously, it has to be a permanent. So if there's a sorcery spell under there, we can't turn that face up. We probably need to reduce our spells. We need to get rid of this artifact-based ramp because we want to be using a specific land ramp. We also probably want to be increasing our land count, so we can make sure we can double land consistently. And then we need to make sure we do have lands or ways to play more than 1 land each turn. Because at the minute, I don't think there is anything that lets us put multiple lands in. There could be, but I'm not sure. I think I'm going to limit myself to say somewhere between 10 and 20 cards to do this upgrade. I think it's going to be a tricky one. But yeah, let's just go for it. Let's do it. Right, so here is the deck after we have made our cuts. We've made 20 cuts. So we're down to 21 creatures, 5 sorceries, 1 artifact. We've kept all 8 enchantments, and we're down to 6 instant spells. So you can see we've removed some spells, we've removed some creatures. The creatures that we've removed are Glitch, Scab, Citadel. We've got the Karu Spell Snatcher, we've got Kian, Rashimi, with Body of Knowledge, Whisperwood Elemental, Yodra, Curator, Teamer. Some of these are just quite high on the mana costs, and they trigger abilities of face-down permanents and stuff like that we don't necessarily want to trigger. We want to do things in a controlled manner in our way with our commander's ability. Disorientating Choice is just one of those cards that your opponents are never going to make the choice that helps you out, so why give them that option? Save yourself the 4 mana and do something that's a bit more streamlined for your deck. Oversimplify, Azorius Predation, they're just board wipes for green and Simic, and they're just not the best, so they are gone. Biomass Mutation, this is great if you're in +1/+1 counter decks and you want to increase the base power and toughness of your creatures, so then all the +1/+1 counters then stack on top. We are not doing that in this deck, so it's gone. Like I said, Counter Spike's gone. Crackling Counterpart, this is a copy spell. Most of the things that we want to copy in our deck are legendary, so this doesn't help us. And then, like I mentioned previously, Soaring Arcane Signet, Simic Signet, they need to go because we want to be using land-based ramp to trigger our commander, not artifact-based ramp. So yeah, that's all the cuts, 20 cuts in total. I will be taking this land count up to say 40, maybe 42. So I'm looking to add between 16 to 18 actual permanents to help streamline this and get us some multiple land drops on each turn so we can trigger this beautiful ability. So yeah, let's do this. So here we go. We have added 10 cards that allow us to play multiple lands per turn. We have got a draw card spell based off land drop. We've got 5 ramp spells, and we've increased the land count by 4. So we're up to 42 lands now. We've added in 4 forests. So the draw spell is Horn of Greed. Obviously, this is a global effect, but we are definitely playing multiple lands per turn because we have Exploration, Druid class, Azusa, Lost But Seeking, Corsair of Crufix, Dry of the Elysian Grove, Ranupnap Excavator, Case of the Locked Hot House, Into the Wilds, Oracle of Baldiah, and Melico the Clouded Mirror. All of these cards allow us to get multiple land drops every turn. Exploration is just an extra land drop on every turn. Same with Druid class on level 2. So once you level it up to level 2, you play an additional land on each of your turns. Azusa, 2 additional land drops, Corsair of Crufix. You may play the top card of your library revealed, play the top card of your library if it's a land. When a land enters, you gain 1 life, making sure we can find those lands. Dryad of the Elysian Grove is an additional land. Ranupnap Excavator is play your lands from your graveyard. So when you're surveilling with your commander with Zimone and you're manifesting that dread, if you put a land in your graveyard, you can then recast it with your excavator here. Case of the Locked House, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Then once it's solved, you can play lands and enchantments and creatures from the top of your library, which gives us the card advantage that we need because we're light on card draw. We've then got Into the Wilds at the beginning of your upkeep. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put that into your battlefield. So that's a land drop before you've even got into your main phase. Oracle of Baldiah, additional land drop on each of your turns. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library to land, same as Corsair of Crufix, just without the life gain. And Melico the Clouded Mirror is a flying creature, and for 1 mana, return a land you control to its owner's hand and then create an illusion. So you pay 1 and you can return the 1 land that you have just tapped to your owner's hand and then play it again with your additional land drops, creating you a board state, hitting your multiple land drops, making sure you'll manifest dread and you'll turn that permanent up for free. Such a nice combo with those 2. Right, other ways to get more lands onto the battlefield. Forsake, Nature's Law, 3 visits. I've also put Lotus Cobra in here as well, just to make sure we can generate that mana that we need. So if we're drawing into heavy blue stuff or into heavy green stuff, we can use Lotus Cobra to make the mana that we need that maybe we don't have in our land base. Obviously with 3 visits, Nature's Law and Farseek, we can go and get the specific dual lands of whatever we need. 3 visits is a forest, Nature's Law is a forest, and Farseek is an island. Yeah, so once we've got shocks, surveil lands, all that type of stuff in our mana base, these cards upgrade that massively. Tireless Provisioner is whenever a land enters, we're going to make yourself a treasure token. Obviously, if you're low on life, you're going to make yourself a food, so you can generate some life back like that and keep yourself in the game, because playing landfall, you are going to become a target. So yeah, there we have it. There's the 20 cards that I have added, or the 16 permanents and the 4 lands. If we scroll down quickly and have a look at the mana curve, you can see here we've got loads of 2 and 3 drops to making sure we can ramp and cast, and then it starts to dip down. So I'd like to trim, if I could fine tweak this even more, some of this higher stuff, maybe get 1 or 2 more 4 drops just to smooth out that curve a little bit more. That would really put this in the sweet spot, but that is looking pretty good to me. In terms of colour fixing, we've got 29% of our deck which is blue, 79% which is green. The mana base is a 50-60 split. Obviously we have lands that tap multiple colours, which is why those numbers don't add up to 100%. So we could go back in and say drop out 5 of these or 10 of these islands and swap them in for forests, just to really make sure we are having a good time. There was a cool little card, the Royal Elemental, I believe it was. Whenever your land enters, you gain control of a target permanent as long as you control Royal Elemental. And I thought that was quite fun, but I imagine a lot of playgroups might not like you stealing their things consistently every time you play a land drop. And if you're playing up to like 5 lands a turn and stealing someone's entire board state, it could cause salt. So yeah, I didn't include that, but it is quite a fun card. Same with Avenger of Zendikar. That could be another solid card to include into this deck. And yeah, so there we have it, my Zimone Mystery Unraveler Duskmourn Precon Upgrade Guide. Now, originally, like I said, I felt this deck was pulling in multiple directions. I think really choosing to focus on one of those things about her abilities and really go for that has helped streamline this deck. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did I miss any key cards that should have been added? Are you picking up this Precon? Do you think the Precon is good out the box? And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.